All right, this is awesome. This is good. This is what I want. So, for those of you who haven't been following the whole dual universe situation, dual universe is a game that I've been covering and that I've been very skeptical about, and that I've been wanting to get more information on. And without going into it too much, this video that they just released is exactly what I want to see from developers more. No he said, she said, no hearsay, no bullshit, just straightforward information and documentation. Wonderful. Wonderful. Ow, I just hit my hand on my fucking wall. Okay, that should explain how wonderful this is. Now, I know the dual universe developers get mad at me all the time, but honestly, that's not a big deal to me because if you don't do this, then we have instances like what just happened, No Man's Sky. Now, the funny thing is, I'm not particularly disappointed with No Man's Sky because I personally love the single-player experience. However, it was very easy for everyone to assume that the game No Man's Sky was completely different than the game we got. Everybody thought it was going to be multiplayer. Everybody thought it was going to be all these different things. Even the developers specifically said, hell, when he went on Stephen Colbert's show, he specifically said, oh yeah, you'll be able to see other players in the world, which was, as much as I still like the game in many ways, it was a lie. It was a lie. And the best way to get around that is blatant, straightforward, no bullshit information. And until I see that information, I do not get excited about anything, and I maintain aggressive skepticism. So I hope that I am one of the people that help motivate Dual Universe to release this wonderful video. Wonderful. I haven't even watched the whole thing. I watched as much of it as I needed to know that I wanted to watch it with you all. But we're going to watch this now, and this is going to answer our previous questions on their server technology and how they are going to be accomplishing the claims that they have been making. Now, I'm sure there are still problems I'm sure there are still questions that we can ask, but this is the kind of responses that I love. I love it. And I don't have to post on their Reddit. I don't have to post on their forums. I don't have to do anything. They just give me this information and we ingest it, and it's perfect. No feelings hurt. Wonderful. I love you. I love it. I love it when this happens. All right, let's watch it.
Hello, this is JC from Nova Quark. Welcome to Dual Universe Dev Diary. This time we'll have a closer look at the server technology. As you know, Dual Universe is an upcoming sandbox sci-fi MMORPG which is focused on emergent gameplay and building. All this taking place in what we call a continuous single shard, which means that everybody is going to be playing in the same universe at the same time. One big server, no instances, no zones. Together you'll be free to create cities, spaceships, or giant orbital stations, as well as political, territorial, or social structures. Well, as you can imagine, this raises quite challenging technical questions. So let me show you exactly what this is about. This is a debug view of the server, showing the players connected to it as small white dots. You can see that the universe is dynamically partitioned into cubic cells, and as the players go closer to each other towards the center, the cells get smaller and smaller to maintain an average maximum number of players per cell and distribute the load. So you can think of each cell as being roughly like a particular machine on the server cluster.
That's fucking genius, by the way. This is really awesome, dynamic server offloading software. Like this is great. This is the kind of dynamic infrastructure that you would need to accomplish this game. Incredibly complicated. I'm sure there's still a lot of things in this system that I should probably learn more about and spend more time understanding, but this is definitely helping me understand how they are going to accomplish the things that they are looking to accomplish in a well explained demonstration. And they continue taking this demonstration even further to show practical instances of this system working in game.
Now, let's have a look at how it shows inside the game.
Also, one thing to make clear, I am making an assumption here. This is one question you could potentially ask. They might explain this later in the video. I'm not really sure. I guess you could create all of these players locally, on a single machine as if they were like AI or something, in which case this wouldn't be a true demonstration. But I'm assuming that all of these instances are networked across different computers over a internet connection, and this is being showcased as if each of these, even though they might be being controlled by like an automated system, they're being controlled by an automated system that is networked on separate computers to showcase the functionality. I'm assuming that. If that is the case, then this is doing what it's saying it's doing.
Here, we have a client connected to the server, and you can see all the players actually gathering to the center. Each player you see is an actual client that we fully simulate as to effectively test the load on the architecture. So they are real.
They could be lying about that, but again, like I'm saying, I would assume that they would not be, because this looks exactly like that's what that is, without them actually like taking pictures of their like data center and their which would actually be pretty cool if they did that. But hey, whatever.
And in particular, they are all getting the updates about each other's position as they move. You can see in the upper left corner how the dynamic space splitting goes inside the server. The other important aspect is that the further away a player or an entity is, the less frequently it gets updated. Here you can see the name of the player is blinking every time there is an update. So as you can see, when we zoom, further away players are less frequently updated than those nearby.
This is kind of like an LOD system. I don't know if anybody knows anything about like level of detail, but when you play a game, the game is not fully simulated at any given time. It is simulated in a way where if things are farther away from you, you don't see them in as high a detail. That's what a level of detail is. When you, for instance, with Project Reality, if you want to create a single object or a single object like or entity like a tank or something, you actually the modeler has to model multiple different versions of that same object so it can load at different level of details when it's far away in order to keep performance at an optimum. In fact, there are a lot of issues with level of detail designs. I still remember in Project Reality where like the second level of detail, like if a Huey was like 100 meters away from you as opposed to like 200 or 50, the windows were messed up and they would like load to the side or something like that because the modeler actually screwed up that level of detail. This is kind of a similar system, but instead of using level of detail for textures or objects, it's using level of detail for network simulation. So if you have somebody far away from you, your computer doesn't have to continuously be pulling information about that entirely separate client to it just doesn't have to do that because there's no reason to know exactly the position of, let's see, for instance, that player all the way over there. There's no reason to pull information about that player's position every millisecond in order to showcase smooth movement because they're so far away. It's not going to matter anyways. Now, this might cause some issues with like maybe like sniping or something, or like long-range engagements, potentially. I don't know, but it is a feasible way to accomplish what they're talking about.
Updated than those nearby, and the loss of update frequency is compensated by interpolation techniques. Now let's see how this looks like in a more realistic game situation. A bit more than 1,000 players have been spawned in a few hundred meters wide area, and they are moving around. Again, each of
this does not seem to be running very well. Just pointing that, even though this is impressive, but it looks like there could be more optimization potentially made on this. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the problem with showcasing video like this. Since this video is actually not a client running on my computer, it's hard to figure out, since this video is running at a low frame rate, why it's running at a low frame rate, because for all I know, when they made this video, their encoder fucked it up and it's actually running completely smooth. Kind of like, you guys remember that No Man's Sky live stream we did, and my open broadcaster was lagging everything out, but everything was running fine on my computer? It's hard to tell when you watch videos of this what's causing the latency. So that, I don't know, but it does seem to be low latency.
This player is a full-fledged simulated client. They actually see each other and can interact with each other and with me as a game client, as it would be in a real game world situation. You can see there's a really a lot of players, maybe on screen perhaps a few hundreds. So more virtual clients means more server rented for testing, so we are currently limited in how far we can push this until we have actual players connected, but so far our models run as expected. The max distance.
That is impressive. That's interesting. What he's saying is essentially when, or at least what I think he's saying, I could be wrong about this, but obviously when they open this up to the public, they're actually going to have to start renting server space, which is very expensive. I mean, that's why you pay monthly fees for MMOs, because you actually have to rent the hardware to network all of this. I guess right now they're running this on their own simulated network setup that's not quite as large and is probably not going to be what you're going to be playing on for the MMO. But without spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that they are going to be spending when they actually start bringing in revenue, this is a good way to simulate the exact same thing.
Distance at which we can see an entity depends on its size. So while we only see players here, keep in mind that the way things work extends to large-scale entities like ships that we can see from much further away. Here again, we dynamically play with frequency to maintain a reasonable load. Now, if I get further away from the planet and activate this debug info,
this will actually be revealing. I'm interested to see. Oh, hey, look, information. Is there FPS? Can't see actually. I think it might be up there, but it might be covered by this stupid thing. Player world speed, player local speed. I have no idea.
You can see the players as I.
It will be interesting if his frame rate goes up as he gets away from this, then that means that it's probably latency from having that player density as opposed to something else.
Get further away. Now we can see maybe 700s, 800s of them, and all of them are still moving in a fluid way. As you can see, we can have a very high density of players in a continuous single shard universe, and this allows us to build a truly massively multiplayer game where large-scale emergent interaction.
Yeah, okay, so it was definitely the player saturation that was creating the frame rate. That's actually kind of an issue. Well, it's not a huge issue because EVE Online has the same problem, I guess, because EVE Online has it where if there's a whole bunch of players, it'll lag the server, but they'll just slow down time. I mean, I guess that's always going to be a problem no matter where you are or what you do. I mean, because if you have a billion players that just happen to be like, hey, let's all go on that mountain, it's going to lag everybody out in that area. I could foresee that being an issue, but I mean, hell, at a certain point, there's only so far you can optimize things with the technology we have today, so it's still impressive.
Will be able to take place. Thanks for watching, and don't hesitate to visit us on our website, forum, or dev blog for more information on this technology, and join the newsletter.
Awesome, cool, that's it. That's impressive. I'm excited about this. That's good information. Good info. Thank you. Continue with this information, more in-depth information. Hell, I would actually love, I mean, not that you need to do this, but here's my thing. Like, I feel like there should never be a situation where you shouldn't just show as much as you can. It's an art form in itself, taking what you're doing and relaying that information to the public. It really is. Because a developer of a game, when you're a developer of a game and you're working on the game, you obviously know everything that you're doing. You know everything that you're doing. You know it works. You know it's functional. You know all the reason. And when you're that person, I think it's easy to somehow just like assume that everybody else can just as easily understand what you're doing or the fact that you're not lying. You're just like, well, why would I do that? Of course, you should be able to understand this just as much as I do. But really, no, it's not that. Like, relaying accurately and reliably to the public how you're building your game, how you're pitching your game, how your game's going to function, the technology that you're using. That is an art form in itself. An art form that Hello Games of No Man's Sky failed miserably, and that's one of the reasons they're getting such huge backlash. So these kinds of videos, these kinds of well-documented, even if they're difficult to make, but well-explained, well-documented videos showcasing the technology with reasonable and understandable explanations, wonderful, fantastic, good job. Keep on that. Keep doing this. Exactly this. Continue this perpetually. And I'm looking forward to the next video. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. We'll keep an eye on Dual Universe. It's going to be really funny if they come out and their game is like technologically capable of doing all the things that they say, but then the game design is garbage. That's kind of the problem with No Man's Sky, where it's like, wow, look at all these worlds, but it's really grindy, and I'm tired of these same missions. So hopefully you don't forget the game design, and making a fun game is just as important as the technology. But yeah, I don't know. This is good. Good. It's good. It's good. Continue. All right. Thank you. That's my update for you all. All right. Love you. Bye.